Okay, I'm doing my presentation on Beirut Galdikas, who's at the forefront of primatology. She specializes in orangutans. So she was born in Wiesbaden, Germany, May 10th, 1946, right around World War II, if you notice. Her family fled the Baltic region due to Soviet occupation, and she came from a refugee family. So she moved around a lot as a child. She moved to Quebec. Next, she moved to Toronto. I've noticed that a lot of anthropologists move around a lot in their childhood, and this may contribute to their belief in cultural relativism. So, her dad was busy as a miner. As a result, she spent her time reading and dreaming. Her favorite book as a child was Curious George. Next, she moved to Vancouver. She started to develop an interest in National Geographic and the works of Jane Goodall, a specialist in chimpanzees, as well as Dan Fossey, a specialist in mountain gorillas. This is the picture of Jane Goodall observing a chimpanzee. So she decides to combine her interest in Curious George and National Geographic, and she decides to start her studies at UCLA in 1966. She focuses on psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, and she obtains a BA in psychology and zoology from a joint program with UCLA and the University of British Columbia. She obtained a master's in anthropology from UCLA in 1969. At UCLA, Galdikas met the famous paleontologist Louis Leakey. He's famous for proving all humans originated from the continent of Africa, and he also acts as a kind of mentor to Jane Goodall and Diane Fossey. So, in one of his lectures in 1969, she proposed to him her dream of doing field research on orangutans. So, with the help of Louis Leakey and National Geographic, Galdikas established a research facility on the Indonesian island of Borneo. In 1969, after seeing Goodall and Fossey's interesting field projects, she proposed the idea to study orangutans after one of Louis Leakey's lectures. She didn't start her fieldwork until 1971. So that just goes to show it took 2 years for her to get past all the regulations. So that takes a while in anthropology fieldwork. So Borneo is the largest island in Asia, and it's home to one of the oldest rainforests in the world. So note the dense wildlife in this picture. This makes it an ideal location to observe orangutans. It is her natural habitat. She uses this project for her UCLA PhD, which just to show you where it is on the map. And this is one of the reasons why Story Map is so good. In her childhood and in her fieldwork, she travels across the world. And that's one of the things that anthropology does. Is people cross cultures globally together. So this is a picture of the primates and Foxy left, Chingo and Gallipots on the right. So the Trimates was a nickname given to them by Louis Leakey. Jane Goodall became the pioneer of chimpanzee research. Diane Fossey pioneered gorilla research, and Beirut Galdikas pioneered orangutan research. Galdikas started researching while Goodall and Fossey had been in the field for a long time. This may contribute to why Fossey and Goodall are a little more famous in this field. So this is one of her quotes in Reflections of Eden, an autobiography of her work. My first years in the field were years of discovery. Merely finding a wild orangutan was exciting. Following an orangutan for a week or more was a triumph. Almost everything I learned about orangutans was new. So this is because the orangutan was the least understood ape prior to her research. While Galdikas is most known for her contributions to primatology, she made significant contributions to our understanding of the ecosystem of Indonesia's rainforests. So this was unexplored territory that she pioneered in many ways. She was a pioneer who explored completely new ground. So this was her culminating book, Pictures Not Littering, Reflections of Eden. So she compiles all of her experiences. She describes in rich and vivid detail the community and culture of orangutans and makes the argument that they have a similar culture humans have. This is one of my favorite quotes. It just goes to show how vivid anthropologist imagery is. As I sit, my back leaning against a damp, moss-covered tree trunk, my eyes sweeping the canopy above, my ears straining to catch the crack of a distant branch that betrays an orangutan moving in the treetops. I think about how we humans search for God. The tropic rainforest is the most complex thing an ordinary human can experience on this planet. A walk in the rainforest is a walk into the mind of God. So after all this, she becomes, she sees poachers and palm oil plantations that destroy the habitat of rainforests. This is an example of a palm oil plantation. So it's a good idea for people to avoid palm oil when they can, if you look at ingredient lists. She's been involved with the foundations to rehabilitate orangutans, such as Orangutan Foundation International, OFI, where she's the president. And palm oil plantations just destroy they deforest these rainforests, and orangutans may become extinct if this continues. So she's a professor now. She teaches at Simon Fraser University in Burnaby, British Columbia, one of the places in her childhood. She is a professor extraordinaire at a university in Indonesia, and she is president of the Orangutan Foundation in Los Angeles, California, which just goes to show she still has contributions all over the map. Awards, there's all the awards she has. Again, UK, Canada, Indonesia. It's all across the world. Anthropology is a world study. And this is my works cited.